Welcome back, and this time we've left our boat jobs behind for a trip to Malta. And after our 3-hour flight from Gatwick to Lucca, we'll pick up our hire car and head north to St Paul's Bay, which will be our base for the week. The first couple of days here are wet and windy, but I've come for the diving, so a little rain is not going to dampen the spirits as we head north to the ferry terminal, which is a popular spot in Malta for diving, especially when the guide is getting to know the team. Once we're all in the water, the first dive is so the guide can check our competence and our air consumption, or sack rate. This is because most of the wrecks are located a good 5 to 10 minutes dive out from the shoreline, and you can't afford to blow through all your air just getting there. This first wreck is the MV Rosie, a tugboat built in Bristol in 1958, and after operating in the Grand Harbour for many years, in September 1992 she was sunk just outside the terminal as an artificial reef. The Rosie lies upright on a sandy bottom in a depth of 36 metres and is a very popular dive site, so come early. Bracknell Bezac love a bit of tin, so after a discussion with the guide we are clear on what is safe and what is not safe for penetration diving. Not sure what Richard and Tony are up to at this point, but it soon becomes clear. Tony, as you are driving, you must be Pat. So Richard, that makes you the black and white cat. Good morning, back again today, and this time we're heading off to the second wreck just off the terminal, the P29. P29 started life as an East German minesweeper before being recommissioned as a patrol boat in 1997 for the Maltese Coast Guard, where she patrolled local waters. She was finally decommissioned and sunk on August 2007 to become another artificial reef. P29 sits at 35 metres, but much of the wreck can be viewed at 25 metres with the highest point at about 12. Passing through the door, it becomes clear I snagged on something, so best to stop before I rip a hose and make things worse. As can be seen here, my hose is catching on a door bolt and shows why you should always dive with a buddy, especially when penetration diving. Once out, we move along the patrol boat to the accommodation deck, where we pass through to the starboard side. This is Dave, our dive guide. Say hi, Dave. Interestingly, this is not a gun, but made from old machine parts welded together to show where the patrol boat's weaponry would have been originally located. It still makes a great photo op, and boys will be boys. Good morning, and today we're heading to the south of the island to one of the biggest wrecks in Malta, the Faroud. The Faroud was a fuel tanker that operated between Italy and Libya, carrying refined fuels. On February 1995, she was docked in Malta when an explosion occurred in number 3 centre tank, killing 9 shipyard workers and causing major structural damage. On the way out to the wreck, we find the memorial to the 9 workers that lost their lives, but unfortunately some people have no respect. The Faroud remained in Valletta Harbour until 1998, when it was decided to sink her in the Bay of Quindi. She is 115 metres long, sits upright in 36 metres of water, and in 2005, after a bad storm, she broke in 2. But other than that, she's still in good condition, including the accommodation decks and the engine room. Today is boat trip day, and we're off to do some cave diving off a little island of Camino between Malta and Gozo. Say Bracknell Bizak.
Bracknell Bizak.
When I say Bracknell, you say Bizak. This first dive will take us into a cave structure that we can surface and was used in the original movie The Count of Monte Cristo, where Edmond Dantes supposedly finds the treasure and becomes the Count. Looks like a big hole to me, but then I have been called a Philistine. This is one of our tech divers in a rebreather, and yes, it is as heavy as it looks. Last day of diving today, and we're taking the ferry to Gozo to dive the Inland Sea and the Blue Hole. Dave is an Englishman, but has lived in Malta for what seems like forever, and has great local knowledge and is very happy to share.
General's Rock or Mushroom Rock. During the times of the Knights of St John of Jerusalem, hospitators, caregivers, they grew a mushroom on there they used to use in their medicines. So, welcome to the Inland Sea, Jawaiva. And you enter the World Heritage Site. All these little boat houses, what they are, must remain as they are, not allowed to build.
The gorge on the Inland Sea is the highlight of this dive, which gets darker and deeper as you progress, but you should refrain from using your torch as it's the best way to follow the exit. Again, coming back is equally spectacular. The final dive is the blue hole. Unfortunately, it's packed with swimmers, so difficult to enter and exit. But once down, it's easy to see the archway and the exit for the rest of the dive. Dave has suggested we take a dive into the chimney, a rock tunnel formation that enters at about 25 metres and comes out at about 10 metres. Next time we're finishing off the last of the boat jobs before we head to Cornwall. We find out I have to step the mast so we can have our spinnaker fitted, so I decide to fit a radar. And we manage to sail around the Isle of Wight to test everything out. Until next time, stay safe.